This is a great morning where we celebrate women, we celebrate Women's History Month. It is a delight to welcome you all here to the Moller House on such a momentous occasion. I want to recognize the faculty and staff that have come and joined us from Mercy College. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to recognize the students that have joined us from Mercy. Thank you for being here. I know that President Hall will say a few words about the trustees that are here, but welcome to the trustees that have joined us also. We have an important elected official here with us today who told me that I should not recite his bio, and that's good, because I did not jot it down, although I certainly know by his reputation how important his work is to the county. So we're delighted to have County Executive George Latimer with us, and thank you so much. Here's George, I was supposed to say. Thank you.
Nowadays, politicians' resumes are quite the thing, as you can appreciate by the other George. So I'm perfectly happy for Here's George, but I'm very honored to be one of about 7 men in a room of very talented women. And particularly when I know that you're recognizing women in technology, that's a double strike for me. Because I'm just about approaching the age of 70 and technology is still a bit of a mystery to me. Fortunately, I have an 8-year-old granddaughter who knows technology. So if I need women in technology, I call up Lily, how does this work? I have no idea. But in all seriousness, I think it's important, as Mercy is doing, to recognize this important field. This is the field of the future for all of us. Those of us of a certain age have seen what technology has done already. I remember pre-emails, pre-text messaging, pre-fax machines in a work environment. And those things have revolutionized the way we work in an everyday fashion. And we're heading into areas now that are almost inconceivable. What will AI bring us? And how do we harness that? And it will take intelligent people who are well-trained, well-schooled, to be able to know how to handle that. And I think your panel today is going to have a great discussion about that topic. I particularly want to shout out for Valerie Mason-Cunningham, who was recently recognized by our African American Advisory Board in the county as one of the trailblazers in Westchester County. And so Valerie... I also want to highlight that I know that even though I'm an old white male, which is part of every majority group, right-handed, the whole thing, that there is a breaking of the glass ceiling that happens whenever a woman reaches a certain point of achievement. And the tech field has been a male-dominated field without question. But yet you see Ginny Rometty become CEO of IBM and has that position for a decade. Although it's not considered particularly a technology field, when you become a CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi reached that point as well. And Maggie Timoney right now, who is the head of Heineken USA. These are all Westchester-based entities that have had women at, or most previously at, top-level managerial positions. And clearly, that is what happens when you break the glass ceiling the first time. The question now is how the second and the third and the fourth gets to the point where it's not unusual, where you have women in positions of authority, and it is second nature because they're the most talented person to have. I'm very proud that the head of our IT department in Westchester County is Marguerite Byrne. And she's had that position in the prior administration. She has in my administration. She's a talented professional. And we asked her to stay on, and she's done a terrific job for us. And in fact, I have our Director of Operations, Joan McDonald, Deputy Director of Operations, Emily Saltzman, Director of Economic Development, Bridget Gibbons, Director of Communications, Catherine Chaffee, on and on. Not because they're women, but because they're talented. And the door that was closed to women has to be open so that you can see. I know I tend, and I apologize for this, I tend to be in a drive-by, sort of shooting motel where you show up and you make a few words and speak a little bit. I won't be able to stay for the full program, I'll stay for a little bit of it, but it's a really essential thing. And my good friend, President Hall, who is completing his service here, don't feel bad, Tim. I have term limits on my job, which I put into place. As my wife reminds me, she told me this morning, 2 years, 9 months, 9 years. ceiling where there's like a crack in the ceiling. I think she thinks I can fix that. We'll find out in 2 years, 9 months, 10 days. But thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside you.
Thank you so very much. I want to also recognize Alisa Jacobs, who is the director of the district office for Assembly Member Mary Jane Shinsky, is also here. Thank you so much for being with us. So George, I mean, you mentioned opening the doors. A person who has made so many doors open for so many women is, of course, President Tim Hall from Mercy College, to whom we pass the mic, the virtual mic, something. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to see you all this morning at this event. Now that I'm getting close to being on the way out, I guess I'm on the way out, not close to it, but I think of people that I've met during my time in New York. I'm looking for one of the very first people I met, which was Sobeda. Sobeda Cruz, yes. I had Catherine, who now works for you, but I'm not trying to hold that against you. I said, Catherine, find me, you know, like the 50 most important Latinas and Latinos, and she took me to see Sobeda, like in my first couple of months here at Mercy College. And Sobeda has been a great supporter. I don't know about you, but from my perspective, the Sisters of Mercy are looking wiser and wiser and more full of forethought when they established this college. We're getting close to 75 years. There'll be a celebration in the next couple of years or so. But when you think about what's happened since they had that vision, and I don't even understand a vision that says you wake up some morning and say, let's start a college. I can't even understand that. They did that. They said, let's start a college, and they started a college. And you can see what's happened. We're now in this wonderful facility. For the last 3 out of 4 years, Mercy in Westchester, which is chock full of very prestigious institutions. Mercy has been the one rated the best in Westchester College out of 3 out of 4 years. That doesn't come easy, but it came because somebody saw that it could be and saw that there was a need for it. They started out serving the the daughters of working class families. Over the years, the college has continued to serve students who haven't always been served as well as they could have, who've been frequently underestimated. And we're trying as hard as we can not to do that, to make sure that we take full estimation of their gifts and their strengths and their potentials, to make sure they have a chance to be exactly who they are capable of being. So I'm excited to be here with you. I guess I'll stop at that. I'll tell you that my most important mentor in life was a woman. It was my boss when I was a law professor, who invited me to become one of the associate provosts in her office when she became a provost. And I owe virtually every step in my career as an administrator to her guidance and sort of pushing along and saying, here's what you should do, and go do this. And I did it. I learned that from my wife. That's the right suggestions like that. So it's great to see you. I hope you enjoy our presentation this morning. These notes are too small and my eyes can't read them. I forgot to say the important thing, which is to recognize first 2 board members. I never walk into a place where I know. 3 actually is Valerie, you've already heard from. Marlene Tutera is back there, was the chairman of the board of CNR at the time that Mercy had the transaction with them. And then Cindy Lopez is right there in the middle, of course. She's hiding in plain sight. We're very proud to have all of them serving on our board.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, President Hall. Thank you so much, County Executive Latimer. And thank you so much all again for being here. It's exciting to celebrate Women's History Month in March. I was saying before to a few friends and colleagues that we should celebrate Women's History Month every single month. The celebration is one that dates back to 1982, when Congress passed a joint resolution that authorized and requested the then President Ronald Reagan to proclaim a Women's History Week. In 1995, it was extended to an entire month, and since then, US presidents have proclaimed March Women's History Month. So this is why we're here. We chose an important theme, and that's women who advance technology. We already heard how important that theme is. And what I'd like to do is start us off with a quote from actually a great woman in the world of technology, physics specifically, somebody named Ursula Franklin. I don't know if any of you are familiar with her. She was a German-Canadian metallurgist. She was a research physicist, an author, an educator. She was a pioneer in her field of research. She was a visionary regarding technology. You really should read her articles on tech. And she was an indefatigable activist. She was a big feminist. She made great gains for women. In one of her essays, she says this. She says, technology is not the sum of the artifacts, of the wheels and gears, of the rails and electronic transmitters. Technology is a system. It entails far more than its individual material components. Technology involves organization, procedures, symbols, new words, equations, and most of all, a mindset. And it really is, for me, today's theme being women in tech, we have the chance to learn from three also indefatigable women who are visionaries and who basically employ a mindset to advance technology. How do they use technology to instantiate that mindset within the organizations in which they operate? To what extent, what do they bring to the enterprise of making the system work? I think we're going to learn a lot about that. Now, before I turn to the panelists, I want to say a few words about why the topic of tech is important from my perspective. It's something, I'm not a technologist, I'm just a linguist, but I'm a person who uses technology. All of you do. This is why it's so important. And there are a few fields where women are more underrepresented than in tech. For example, women are only 5% of the chief technology officers in the top 1,000 US companies with the highest revenue. We have a female CTO at Mercy, but 5%? How is that possible? Only 25% of computing jobs are held by women. This figure was 32% in 1990, so we're going backwards. Women get 57% of college degrees. At Mercy, even more than that, because, but only 2% of those degrees are in computer science and technology disciplines. 2%. And then within computer science itself, 18% of bachelor's degrees go to women. 18%, that number in 1984 was 37%. What's going on? Okay. I'm so glad to hear these numbers, when you learn about them, you gotta say to yourself, we have to devote ourselves to changing this, right? We can do better than this. At Mercy, I think we do better than this. I think that our degrees in CS and computer science in 2019, I think 39% of them were awarded to women at Mercy. So we're doing better, but not good enough, right? So you don't need convincing, but diversity in tech is important for so many reasons. Tech is, according to a technologist I love, necessary and enjoyable like food and books. It's not everything, but it's an aspect of everything. If indeed it is an aspect of everything, then we need more people to be like all of us who are making technology. I'll give you a silly example. I downloaded an app for my cell phone once that made my cell phone be friendly for lefties. And I'm a lefty. I swear, a righty designed that app. It did not work for me. That's one silly, capricious example of why we need more people like you to be building tech. Because you're the users, we're the users, we need to be involved in it, right? In the national argument for diversifying technology is a workforce-based argument. We have a more diverse workforce, and we have better production, we generate more capital, etc. But it really, for us, it should be about how diversifying the tech workforce will reshape communities. It will empower more people. It will give people access to those high-paying jobs. And so we need to empower women to have access to write that history, to create those things that we all need. Now, I could go on about this forever, as you can tell, I'm passionate about this topic. But before we do, a couple of things to point out. The STEM Ready grant is in the house. HSI STEM and Articulation Program, it's a U.S. Department of Education project. Is a great collaboration with Westchester Community College, and our colleague Mary Haggerty is overseeing this amazing, big, well-funded project. So thank you for being here.
We have our WCC
counterpart. And I was going to say, Genevieve Precioso, is that you?
Oh, no.
No, sorry.
He's the Adams.
Okay, thank you, I apologize. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So it's a collaboration with Westchester Community College, and we're thrilled to be part of that. I think that there's posters around the room that were made by students that were participating in the STEM Ready Summer Research Institute. So take note of those before you leave today. Also, the Mercy Center for STEM Education is in the house. And where is Megan? Yes, not Megan, I'm sorry, Amanda Gunning. Amanda Gunning is in the house. My slip of the tongue was about mentioning Megan Marrero, who is Amanda's co-director of this incredible center. I think that the center is creating, I know, you're creating opportunities for people to really get access to STEM. Did your robotics stuff make it today?
Yeah, that's right.
So check out the robots. They're from Amanda's work. So thank you all for being here. Now finally, for what you've been waiting for, panelists. I tried to talk fast. I'm going to read you their bios, and then we have some questions. I wonder though, just to make it fun and keep you on your toes, after I read one of your bios, if we could go to the first question, which is about your inspiration to pick a career in tech. I hope that's okay with you. Absolutely. So Valerie, I'm starting with you. Valerie Mason Cunningham, let me tell you. I know, sorry. It's not even, I don't know if it's, I did not pick the order, I'll say that.
That's fine.
So Valerie Mason Cunningham actually received an honorary Doctor of Commercial Science from Mercy in 2020. She's a Mercy College trustee, as you heard from President Hall, a 38-year employee at Xerox Corporation, and recently celebrated her birthday, a Pisces, on March 14th. Happy birthday! So she is now retired from Xerox Corporation as Vice President of Channel Marketing for North America Operations, and currently she is the co-founder and co-CEO of Mason and Rice. That's an organization that coaches and facilitates learning and guides organizations toward positive and sustainable change. In essence, Mason Rice promotes change from within by emphasizing the importance of the pursuit of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And I'm hoping that we'll get to hear a lot more about Mason and Rice and that work you're doing. So Valerie was honored by Westchester County at the 2023 Trailblazers ceremony for professional achievements. She received the Madam C.J. Walker Award for Economic Development. She was formerly the board chair for Volunteer New York. Valerie attended Spelman College, where she studied computer science and information technology, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Marketing, and Business Management from SUNY at Old Westbury. Thank you, Valerie, and tell us, what inspired you to go into this crazy field?
Had I known I was going to be first, I would have taken your lead and said, just go, hey, Valerie. Lesson learned. Thank you for that question, and thank you all for being here. This is a really important topic about women in tech. And so what got me into tech? It was actually two things. It was my 8th grade science teacher who told me I would amount to nothing. And I loved math and science. And why she told me that, I don't know. And I was very distraught over that. And went home and told my mother. And she said, you can be anything that you want. So you just stay the course and keep doing the work and keep your grades up, and you can be whatever you want. And when I got into 9th grade, my math teacher, Mr. Holt, was awesome. And I started learning about algebra and all these other great, mathematical skills, and I loved math. And so he also was my 10th grade math teacher in geometry, and I was the only one that got 100 on my final exam.
Wow.
And so he became my mentor and really said, you have something here and you should really consider what you're going to do with it. And I said, well, I really want to be a math teacher like you. I love teaching. I had a blackboard when I was little. I used to bring all my girlfriends in my basement and I would teach them math. I would actually give them tests. I would grade them with a red marker if it was wrong, a green marker if it was correct, the whole thing. I wanted to be a teacher. And he said, well, that's great. And when I was entering into my senior year, he still was my mentor. And he said to me that Lafayette College is going to be having a 2-week summer camp called Minorities Introduction to Engineering. And mechanical engineering was now something I was starting to think about besides teaching. And he said, you should apply for it and see if you can get there. And I was lucky enough that I got into the program. And it was 2 weeks in the summer at Lafayette College. And so mechanical engineering, okay, great. And then they introduced us to computers while I was there. Had no idea what computers were before that. And then I was so intrigued. I'm like, okay, so computer science is now what I want to do. And so graduating from high school, going to Spelman, I went in as a computer science major. And so my first 2 years there, it was a lot of math. So I took calculus, pre-calc, Cal 1, Cal 2. I had all kinds of programming, Cobalt, all the different kinds of programming. And in my junior year, I spoke to my professor and I said, this is great, but I don't want to be a programmer. I really want to take this technology and solve business, but not in the back office, meaning designing it. I want to be in the front office, which is talking to customers and businesses about why this is important to do. So I think I'm going to change my major, and I think I want to go into business and learn a little bit more about that with the applied information that I know in computer science. And then maybe get my master's in information technology. And he said, that's a mistake, because you'll never go back. He says, you will not do this. You need to stay the course in computer science. Well, unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford me to stay at Spelman because it was an out-of-state college. And I had to come back to New York. And so by doing that, I went to SUNY Westbury, but I carried everything with me. So it wasn't like that was for lost. But I did start to get into a little bit of more business and applied mathematics in order to see how I could shape and mold this career that I wanted to go in. And so this is how my journey began. And what I guess I want to say is, where you start is not where you're going to finish, but where you start, you bring everything along the way.
Yeah.
And so I just did a recent TEDx talk last year, actually, about you have to go through something to get to something.
Yes.
And in order to do that, what that says is you're creating your own masterpiece. So everything that you do along the way, good, bad, or indifferent, is a part of your experience map. And that experience map becomes your tapestry. And you can build and you can pull from all of those different angles in order to create what it is you want to be. And to your point, Ava, and I'll stop here, is we all touch technology. It does not matter. And so I love what Amanda's showing outside for the educational aspects of robotics, making learning interesting. And that's what we need to do. And I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. So hopefully that answered your question.
That sure does, and it gives us think about your life as a woven tapestry is just a beautiful, beautiful metaphor. And wow, I think we're going to hear a lot more of these tapestries. I would like to introduce you all to our next panelist, who is Camille Shelley, our Chief Information Officer at Mercy College. She joined us in 2020, and oh my gosh, has she done incredible things in such a short time. Camille has spearheaded strategic initiatives to meet the demand for remote operations. joined in 2020, remember, when the COVID pandemic hit. And she's provided technological and infrastructure support for, every day of my life. I should really get up in the morning and say thank you, Camille, for everything that you allow us to do. So her accomplishments at Mercy include launching instructional master courses for faculty, designing and installing video conferencing technology, creating a digital platform that promotes student engagement, developing a laptop loaner program for students, and launching an ADA-compliant college website. A super exciting development is that she is the brains behind a $2.6 million federal grant that was awarded to Mercy, which provides students and community members with access to high-speed internet, technology, education, and support. And I know that we're going to hear more about that a little bit later. Previously, Camille was general manager for the Northeast region for Aleutian Technology Management, where she held the roles of Chief Information Officer, Executive Director, also for Yeshiva University and Brookdale Community College, and those were her outsourced clients when she had that role. Camille is a member of EDUCAUSE, which is actually an excellent organization if you're interested in technology and education. They're focused on advancing higher ed using information tech. She received her undergraduate degree in business administration from Faulkner University, and she received an MBA with an information systems concentration from Troy University. Welcome, Camille.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us about your tapestry.
Yeah, so what got me interested in tech? How did I know? So like Valerie, it was, mine was actually in 9th grade. And it was my math teacher, Miss Brown, and she taught math as well as she was teaching a computer class. And it was on my schedule. I didn't choose it. I don't know how I was selected for it. And they were teaching basic computing, and so it was really colon prompt. You had to know the syntax, all of that jazz. And it was like mind blown. I found my thing. I loved it. It really opened my eyes to something different. It was totally different. I hadn't expected it. And so much so that all of my classmates, they were struggling. And I couldn't understand why they couldn't understand how to do the programming, the coding that was given to us, the work and everything. So, I would go from desk to help, and really try to help them understand, the logic behind the programming, the coding, that type of thing. And so much so my teacher said, Camille, can you stay after class, And I said, sure. She said, you got to quit doing the work for your classmates. They have to learn. I was like, oh, was I doing that? I didn't really realize. Because to me, it was so much fun. I was just like, oh, sure, let me just get in there. So anyway, that is what really triggered in me a desire to learn more. And then, like Valerie, though, I didn't go the computer science route because I took one computer class. I think it was, I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was another basic class in college. And I didn't feel like I fit in, with the classmates. It wasn't my group. It was a very different group than me. I can say I was probably the only female, and it was very rigid. And no emotions, you can't really show emotions or share, how you felt about things. And so I decided, I felt really drawn towards business, leveraging technology, and really looking at how do you do all of the connections. And so that's the route I took. It wasn't high tech, although I did have a technical acumen. And so I did the business with the information systems concentration, and I have felt that has really served me well, especially in my career with software companies and outsourcing technology, because I found my strength in being able to be that mediator between the technology and really what are we trying to accomplish. So again, it was in high school. and it was my math and my computer teacher.
I love it. Wow, thank you. Teachers in the audience, listen to what an important influence you play, right? It's so essential. Thank you, Camille.
I'm sure.
Kanchana, last but not least, for sure. She is Mercy Class of 2024. So Kanchana is a computer science major at Mercy College. And is actually a member of a program that I think she's going to tell us a lot more about. She's participating in a project supported by Google that aims to encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion in the technology industry. In this program, there's a very rigorous application process. In Kanchana's cohort, 13 Mercy students began the program, there's 120 students overall from Mercy and 4 other institutions in Pennsylvania, Iowa, South Carolina, and Nevada. I can tell you that the Mercy students are the best ones. I've seen their project. So TechWise is offered by the global edtech company Talent Spring and supported by Google. Kanchana is working on improving her technology skill set, as well as also preparing herself for a career in tech with the advice and support of mentors from Google, and also mentors from within the college. But Kanchana, over to you. Tell us about your tapestry and where what's inspiring you to be in this field.
I'd say my inspiration are my parents, because they work really hard for me and my sisters, and I just want to follow their footsteps. You know, they're very hardworking, and they've been, a very strong support system for me. So, and I feel like I also have that will, to make a change, because I took a lot of computer classes in Mercy, and there's only like 3 to 5 girls, in the class. So I really think if we all have our, voices heard, we can make a change. So. And I just feel like I want to also transform the society into something more advanced and where everyone can benefit from it. So, yeah.
Well, the future of tech is in your hands, right? So, thank you so much. And also thank you to Kanchana's family for being here. I believe that you guys are around. Say hello. So, my dear panelists, tell me, what does Women's History Month mean to you? And who are the women that have stimulated your curiosity, your intellect, or your passions? Who wants to go first?
So to me, I feel like Women's History Month is like everyone coming together and acknowledging the different accomplishments and successes that women have made, in life. And it's very, to me, personally, I feel like it's like a confidence booster in a sense. So, seeing all these women, achieve, all these goals, I feel like I should go above and beyond and also reach, for those goals. Nothing is impossible, And, someone I look up to is Ada Lovelace, who is actually the first female computer programmer. And seeing everything she's done, she defied the stereotype, that only men should be taking over the tech field. Seeing that, it makes me also want to go, above and beyond and break that boundary and create a change,
That's
so
awesome.
I feel like it's inspirational.
Lady Lovelace was not only the first woman, she was the first programmer, right? That's really, it's important to remember.
Yeah.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Women's History Month. I couldn't agree with you more, Kanchana. I mean, to celebrate women's successes openly and in broad fashion is so important, because it's a learning opportunity for all of us, because even as women, sometimes we don't know what we've done. And it's really important for us to understand that. And to Kanchana's point, it then motivates you to want to do more, because we can see that there's not enough in even the recognition of the month. But yet, when you start looking in the history books, they're there. Nobody's talked about their names, and so your name, you know, the names of the, you know, Hidden Figures from NASA, you know, that movie came out, all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, we had black women doing, you know, these things, and the astronaut John Glenn asked specifically for her to be on the team. I mean, it's incredible, and so it's an exoneration of the fact that we've come a long way, but it's also a recognition that we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And understanding that it's, I put a metaphor in place, it's not like driving an automatic car, but you're driving a manual stick shift. So we've got to shift up, and then we've got to shift down, and we've got to make sure we keep powering ahead. So the woman actually that inspired me wasn't even in technology. It was Maya Angelou. And why Maya Angelou is because she also represented what my mother always said, is education matters. And you have to be educated, because nobody can take that away from you. And so that inspiration of learning that she brought in her eloquent way that she used the English language was intriguing to me. And so while she wasn't a technologist, she boosted my confidence factor that said, as an African American or a black female, I want to do something. So I'm not going to take her spot, you know, in poetry and literature and author, but I'm going to do something else. So it actually propelled me to want to do something where I could be the first black female doing something. And I was fortunate enough that in my career, probably 3 years into my career, Xerox Corporation gave me an assignment to run the major account organization on Wall Street. So these were all the big financial institutions and banks, and we were selling into them the technologies. And so understanding I came from a little bit of technology, education, as well as business, we were really looking at how to provide solutions that included people, process, and technology, because that in lied then the benefit of helping an organization move and grow. And in Wall Street, clearly, you know, we were at the tipping point of all technologies, because that's where a lot of people wanted to go, and they were making money on it, et cetera, et cetera. But then the market crashed while I was running that assignment, and we still outperformed every other team. So having those opportunities also propelled me in understanding it. And again, Women's History Month really starts to help people understand the stories. And we're able to tell these stories, and when you learn the story, then you tell someone else the story. And so it then begins a nice tidal wave of women having more recognition and really penetrating a little bit more in opportunities.
Thank you. So from Lady Lovelace to Maya Angelou, Camille, what about you?
Yeah, I would say, you know, I had the opportunity to attend a conference where Malala Yousafzai spoke, and just her perseverance to have an attempted assassination because she wanted to be educated. And it's just, it's very touching to hear her speak about it. And so she really moves me and inspires me to really, you know, support the mission at Mercy in terms of education's the key. You know, we all stand here in front of you as products of higher education. Right. And it's really created opportunities for me and my family. So yeah, that's who inspires me. And I feel like Women's, is it a month or a week? I don't know.
A full month.
Is it a month? Okay.
We're gonna take it to
I don't know, you know, it used to be a day, I think. I don't know. So for the month, it's important, as Valerie so eloquently said, you know, to recognize the accomplishments, but really, you know, we have a lot of things to work on together. Hard work to do. Gender bias, opportunities, access to education, And from a women's perspective, I would say childcare, family, and how do we really create, to me, it's not work-life balance, it's really work-life harmony. And how do we harmonize and really be able to care for our families as well as have a career? So that's why it's important to me, is really for the future. And how do we create that community that's going to support, a culture that's supportive of women and the things we care about.
Well, Camille, so you're perfectly, you're moving us into the direction of the next question. Some of the things that you all mentioned, in moments like this, I'm often reminded of a paper that demonstrates that all it takes is for one teacher to tell you that you're not good enough, for people to abandon a goal of pursuing mathematics, computer science, or some other endeavor that is not for people like you, in whatever sense that means. I wonder if you could all speculate or maybe give examples of what you know works to really to interrupt that terrible trend. How do we get more underrepresented people into tech fields? What are your thoughts? What are you learning in your roles? What should we be doing? Who wants to start? Kanchana, you want to give it a shot?
So I feel like the first thing we should all do is action, take action, because if we all have our voices heard, eventually, they will be heard, instead of staying quiet, we should all try to break that, that wall, that facade, and I just feel like, I think that's the next question, but I will add on to it. I feel like institutions can also be handy and try to create more opportunities for women and underrepresented groups to, expand on their knowledge, and it'll be more out there,
So what has worked for you in particular, Kanchana? Why are there things that the Department of Computer Science and Mathematics does?
Yeah, so for example, Mercy College, recently they teamed up with Google. They teamed up with Google for TechWise, and that's an 18-month tech program. And it's very rigorous, but it's very, it gives me more confidence, being able to take on that opportunity, while we're at it. And it really builds my skill set, and it points me to the right direction in terms of what field I should, what job I should go to, in computer science. I feel like Mercy College really opened that door that was closed, I feel like it's a great opportunity, and anyone can join that program. It's not only limited to male or female, anyone can join as long as you have that mindset that, you have that hardworking mindset that you can complete it within 18 months. And it's very inspirational.
This is when we get to the climax of your story. So, Kanchana, actually, can you describe the projects that you're all building? I mean, I think this is really incredible what you're able to do. So, there we go.
I'll talk a little bit about the program. It's basically split into 3 courses. It's an 18-month program. And for each course, it's split into main topics. So course 1 was mainly based on building our Python knowledge, the skills of coding. And associated with that, we were able to create our own game, through Python. So, and we were able to present it in front of Google professionals. And course 2, actually, that was my favorite. That was where we were building our own websites, It's all about web development. So I'm currently on my last course, sadly. It's mainly data structures and algorithms. So I'm learning a lot, it's a great opportunity, and I think they're going to start cohort 2 soon. So I hope, students can get influence and, take on this program. It's really not that hard, no, it is rigorous, but I think as long as you have that mindset, as long as you're not, take on that even though it's hard. Like everyone will be in the same boat. No one's like above anyone. Like you're all in the same boat, and there's a lot of mentorship. You know what I mean? So it's really like it's a very great opportunity.
That's awesome. I mean, you said it. You talked about mindset. You talked about it's really not that hard, but I think it's because of the playfulness and the kind of everybody's part of it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and
it.
you can build your skills too. So,
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, Valerie, Camille.
I applaud what Kachana said because it's so great because the future does look bright. I was ready to put on my shades. It's really bright. Yeah, looking good here, and I'm excited about that. One of the things that's important is to recognize that you're really not alone, even when you are alone. And it's important to kind of reach out. And so this idea of having blocks in front of you, they're always going to be there. But having allyship, which all of us in this room should be allies of someone that you know, whether it's a family member, student, neighbor, to help them grow into what they want to be. And giving them some of those, opportunities of lessons learned because you've gone through something and you can at least articulate it from an experience standpoint. But when you're out there, you really don't know kind of where to go get help. And so joining associations or joining clubs in school, getting an opportunity to expand your horizon, and especially if you're a student, building your network of professors, whether they're in your particular department or not, because it's important, again, to just learn about what you may be experiencing. And it may not be the technical things of what the actual work is. It could be just the environment, how to deal with the environment. And somebody can talk to you about, I was there, and I can tell you what you need to do. And at Xerox, we actually had, these employee relations groups of Black employees. We had one for women, we had one for Hispanics, we had one for the gay and lesbians community, etc. And those were communities where you knew you could be vulnerable because pretty much everybody had a similar story to tell. And so when you have those types of communities that you can be engaged with, all that does is fuel you from a confidence factor, a mindset opportunity to shift and really start to believe what it is that you're doing. And even when those blocks come, you have enough energy to break through the block because you've got the power of your tribe behind you. And that's an important thing, to make sure that you build that community around you. And those communities will change all along your life's journey. You may go back and touch some of them because you just want to hang out with them or whatever, but you outgrow some things, and that's okay. Because all that means is you're learning and expanding to be a part of a new community that's doing something special, that's going to bring something better to the world.
That's so profound. Really, affinity groups work. They work.
They do.
Well, I think it's important too to bring awareness or raise awareness that technology is not just a single thing. And it may not just be a programmer or computer science. Today, there's fintech, there's healthcare technology. There's so many different avenues. There's, everything around technology and bring awareness to, opportunities in that way. And also, I would say, and I think this is something I think we're going to get into in a moment, around what higher ed could do. And I think it's really building, a comprehensive suite in addition to technology skills. Also, debate skills are very helpful. When you're in a conference room and you're trying to position, your strategy versus others. And how do you do that in a way that you're heard and respected? And really communication skills beyond, being a programmer or being, a network system admin, those types of things. And I think that when we look at creating the future, and really supporting students today is really to have that comprehensive suite of skills, not just the technology skill itself.
I think that's so important. This is why I love our Model UN Club, because you really learn to debate
Yes.
very well through that. Notice again, it doesn't have to happen through the discipline, right?
Right.
I wonder actually if we could turn to the topic, you touched on it a little bit, adversity. How do you cope with adversity? It happens more than we would like, but I think we all have to be ready for it. What's your secret?
I would say,
Go ahead.
well, I found, I would say success in letting go of being right and just focusing, what is the problem, and attempting to find common ground. That has just worked wonders, especially in my role as we serve 40 different various departments with 40 different strategic initiatives. It can get a little complex. So, one of our approaches, okay, so what are we really trying to accomplish? We want students to be successful. Okay, we can agree on that. And then really letting go of my personal, tendency to be right. And then also acknowledging when someone, you know what, you may be right. And I found that neutralizes, maybe a confrontational situation. So I don't know, you go right ahead. What are you doing at your Google class? I know you have some tense conversations.
To me personally, I feel like in order to deal with adversity and any issues that rise, I feel like the best way is to just take a step back and just assess the situation as a whole. I feel like that's the best way, because getting your emotions come in between any difficulty is not really gonna change that issue. The issue won't disappear. So I feel like just having that kind of mindset would be better. And I feel like it's also important for everyone to know that it's not a forever thing, whatever you're dealing with, whether it's in the workplace or in school or whatever, it's not forever, and there's always going to be that light, at the end of the tunnel. So, just keep moving forward, and at the end of it all, you're going to acquire a new skill, a new mindset. So you're going to have something positive come out of the negative. So
That's great.
yeah.
Optimism, yes. Valerie, what about
Wisdom and a to-be graduate. I'm sitting here in awe. I'm really in awe, so keep me in your tribe. I want to be a part of your network. And I couldn't agree with you more. I believe that it is a mindset change that you have to have. And, everything is not going to run perfectly. And, we're all perfectly imperfect. So, you just kind of roll with it. And my attitude has always been, this too shall pass. And, I just going to keep marching ahead. And I don't like to dwell on things, because all that does is take me into a major league, spiral. And then that just is not good for me or anybody else around me. So I know that I really need to make sure that I stay as positive as possible. And then when things aren't right, try to find those people that can help me come through it. Go into my arsenal, so to speak, I don't go to bed when it's raining outside. If I have to go outside, I go get my umbrella, and I deal with the fact that I have to have an extra tool in my hand to get through, because I don't like getting wet. But it's like anything, every day is not going to be so perfect. You wake up with sunshine in your heart, but things are going to happen all along the way. It's just a matter of your mindset change. How do I deal with it? When it happens, if it's not right, I don't stay there. And I don't ask the question, why did it happen? I say, what else could we learn from it, to your point? And so, again, that's a shift in the mindset, where you're not staying, for those of you who may be into this, I don't know, emotional intelligence and all of that, it's mindset shifting from negative to positive. But then on top of that is what's called positive intelligence, which is where you start to recognize these saboteurs that you hold, being a controller, or being a pleaser, or being an avoider, or a hyper, achiever, or a hyper vigilant person. Those things are good protectors, but they can also be traps that keep you from going forward because you hide behind them versus saying, no, I gotta move forward because there's something in this that I'm learning, but there's also something in this that I'm gonna be contributing to. And so changing that trajectory is what gets me through any difficult situation.
This is so inspiring, actually, and grounding, so I hope you're all jotting this down. I think we have time for one more question and then questions from the audience, so if you have something in mind, get ready to ask. The question I have for you all is advice to your younger self. I find this is a fun, and you know, think of whatever younger self you want to point out. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, maybe longer.
Yeah, so an advice I would give to my younger self is to never give up and to keep like pushing forward. Be optimistic, you know, and just know that you're the main character of your own story and no one can revise that. So just keep pushing forward even though it seems like you're in a dark place and you're dealing with some stuff, like there's gonna be a solution at the end and you're gonna realize like by the end of it all that you know what you were dealing with is gonna transform into something greater in the future. So just keep moving forward and in the future there's gonna be something bright waiting for you.
That's great. You're the protagonist in your story, right? Thank you. Camille, what about you?
You know, what would I tell my younger self? Maybe, you know, don't underestimate your value and your ability to influence, because maybe I did that, you know, initially, and I could have been a little braver maybe in the beginning of my career. However, you know, it's my story, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
I think what I would say to my younger self is wait till you meet Kachana. You think you're a bad woman. And I would also tell my younger self to, you know, keep your drive, but just make sure that you understand that you don't know it all. And so give yourself the grace and the permission to ask for help and support so that you can exonerate the brilliance that you have, that quite frankly you don't even realize you have.
Wow, that's I want to take the opportunity, as the provost always has a research study in her back pocket, right? And it's work that looks at, you know, whether women or men do better in higher ed. I mean, it turns out that people with the most complicated of settings, women with children, advance better, at least according to one study, because of the super mom kind of effect. So I think you just have to kind of like find your path, be truthful to yourself. Those perseverance comments, Kanchana, I mean, it's so super insightful. Please join me in another big round of applause for so much that we've learned from you. I can't even begin to tell you, and I think that we're going to go and make a plan for how we're going to make tech more accessible, our institutions engender a sense of belonging in ways that perhaps we have not in the past. And yes, I'm empowered. I don't know about the rest of you. One final thanks to David Imamura, who has joined us, county legislator from Westchester County. Thank you for being here. And again, thanks to our panelists. Thanks to President Hall. Bernadette Wade, I think, is sitting right there. Thank you, Bernadette, to you and to your incredible team for the programming that you've put together for today and for letting us into your home. Scorpio Rogers, who's the VP for Bronx and Manhattan, is a co-conspirator in the planning of these events. So thank you to him also. Just a few public service announcements. On May 1st, Indra Nui is coming to Mercy. Be there. Be there. It's going to be an incredible, incredible event. Also next month, we're celebrating, actually not next month, the month after. Anyway, May 9th is the date that we're celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage, and more to come on details for that. Also, on June 1st, we celebrate Pride and the LGBTQ community. Stay tuned for that. And lastly, but it's never the last one, there's always another one coming. We celebrate Juneteenth on June 8th this year. So we hope to see you at all of those. Again, thank you to the panelists. Thank you for being here. And